Welcome to the Creation of Joy. My name is Nir Peretz. I am at the Cigar Temple overlooking the Hanging Gardens of Bali. Today I would like to talk about time and memories. So this is a perception and we're going to talk about both issues. First of all, people. People are like images that coming and disappearing. So we are here for a very, very short time. And in fact, our own perception of time is changing mostly with age. So when we are young kids, the time looks that it's going by very, very slowly. And when we get older, it goes by very quickly. One of the reasons for that is that our physique, when our heart rate is going down and we get slower, we perceive time to go through a lot quicker. So, for example, when you are in your 50s and 60s, you wake up on Monday and suddenly it's Friday. When you're a child, you go to school and the day just doesn't go by. So perception of time is very, very important. Memory. The way that our memory work is as follows. So we have future, present, and past. Present is everything. So the way that our mind perceive it is very wide. So if you can imagine a graph, it's a huge scale. As the present disappear and goes to the past, we see that the memories and the time getting shorter and shorter. And as we go further to the past, it's become slender and slender until very thin line and almost disappearing. Our far away memories are very, very condensed. So basically in our mind, we got all the memories from very early days. At some point, it's very difficult for us to enter them. Some people are able to access their memories better than others. So some people perhaps can't remember what happened yesterday, and some people can remember things that happened to them at age 4. It also depends on the memories themselves. The way that the memories are filed in the mind is very, very different. If there is something that is mundane, it doesn't leave a big impression. And if there is something that is very intense, normally it leaves more impressions. So sometimes a very good movie can last for a long time, or at least some people can access it even if they saw it a long time ago. What determines if this is leaving a big impression or small impression is the emotion that occurred whilst you experience the specific experience. So, for example, when you go back to your memories, if whilst you experience them, you had a lot of emotion, and it doesn't matter what type of emotion, but if it was overwhelming, that memory will last longer and it'll be easier for you to access. So why and how some people can enter very long distance memories and some people are not, it's very interesting. And somehow under specific circumstances, even people that can't enter certain memories will be able to enter these memories. So very, very interesting. Also, in our conscience, we see and feel what we see, but our subconscious, because it's so much bigger, collect much more information. So for example, if I'm looking at you now, I will see you, but my subconscious will notice that the flowers on my left are shaking because of the breeze. Normally, my conscience will not notice it, but the subconscious notices a lot more. The question is how we enter it. Next point. What is the difference between kids and adult? And this is a very interesting point. And how do we define when a kid turns into adult? So, of course, this is different for each individual. People mature in a different way. There is no good and bad. I think that we all perceive being kids is a better experience. And it's actually very simple. When you are an adult, your brain all the time ping pong between your past experiences and new future desires and hopes and plans. We very, very seldom give notice to the present. So we don't, whilst we experience the present, we don't notice our emotions at present. So our mind is fully occupied. Feelings and experiences of the past and desires of the future. Kids have very, very little part of their conscience that is occupied with their past and future. They are not yet ready to deal with the future. Mostly they are shielded, they are cocooned from normal worries. So they are very occupied with the present. And that's why they are childish and they can enjoy the moment much more. And also, we remember our childhood as a much more enjoyable experience. So, it's the ability to experience the present that kids have and the inability to fully experience the present that adults have because our mind is preoccupied with past and future. And this is also determine how experience goes into our memory. So understanding the way the time works and the way it's interact with our memory is very, very important because the way that each emotion occurred at each experience and the way that it's filed is very important for us to understand our mind and therefore to know how to make the right decision. The final point for today will be a very unique experience, and we sometimes define it as nostalgia. And when we see something that is in our past, sometimes we look at an old photo, an old footage when we've been a lot younger, or sometimes even footage of an old song or different period of our life, it gives us this nostalgic feeling. It's a very unique feeling that probably only humanity and people have. Of course, we cannot be sure about it because we can only feel what we feel. And it's a very special feel between sadness of times go by and a desire, a miss. We are missing that time. It always filed and touches special chord in our past, and we have a desire to re-experience that period or their time again. And the sadness that we know it is simply impossible because it's time go by. The world of 10 years ago, of 30 years ago, of 50 years ago will never happen again. It's a different place altogether. So this is the very complex and mixed feeling of nostalgia, and it's very beautiful, and it's something for us to understand and cherish. Thank you very much for joining me, and see you at the next chapter.